Shir is dedicated to Nishmas Rachalei Bas Rav Chaim Tzvi. Okay, after a summer hiatus, we're back with some more Hilchot Shabbos, and we've been spending most of our time working on the Malachos, Lamites Malachos, a lot of different Malachos, Dinim D'Oraisa, and I thought today we'd embark on a different area of Hilchot Shabbos. It'll take us a number of shiurim, a major topic, one that we all confront every single Shabbos on a very practical level, and that is the laws of Muktza. I wanted to discuss the laws of Muktza. Interestingly, that when I studied Hilchot Shabbos in depth, so I found an interesting phenomenon. The more I learned Hilchot Shabbos, the more I teach Hilchot Shabbos, you find that that you realize, oh, this was us, I didn't realize. That's us, I didn't realize. And it's not so when it comes to Hilchot Muktza. When it comes to Hilchot Muktza, you find often an opposite phenomena, is that we always tend to think everything is usher, and as we learn Hilchot Muktza, we find a number of important kulos or heterim that exist that perhaps we were unaware of. So again, we will work on Hilchot Muktza over the next coming shiurim. When it comes to the Yisr Muktza, so first there is a bit of confusion. We generally assume, and this is the dominant view in most Rishonim, is that Muktza is an Yisr D'Rabbanan. There is a Rashi tucked away Maseches Pesachim that might indicate Muktza is Nisr D'Oraisa, but the Muktza that we'll be talking about is certainly Nisr D'Rabbanan. And the question is, why did Chazal invoke this Isser Muktza? What exactly is the reason, the Tam HaIsser? And this, the Rambam, in a very famous section, discusses the reasons for the Isser Muktza. This is found at the end of Perek Chav Dalet in Hilchot Shabbos, and the Rambam, in his explication of the laws of Muktza, so he starts to identify different reasons, different manifestations. Why did Chazal generate and create the Isser Muktza? Says the Rambam in Hilchot Shabbos Perek Chav Dalet, Asur Chacham l'taltal miksas dvarim b'Shabbos k'der shos b'chol. You're not allowed to carry certain things on Shabbos as you do on Chol. Mipnei ma nagu be'Isser zeh. What's the reason for this Isser? Amru. Uma im hisiru nevim v'tzivu shlo yu hiluchak b'Shabbos ki hiluchak b'chol v'lo sichas ha'Shabbos k'sichas ha'chol shenemar v'daber davar kal v'chomer shlo yeh tiltul b'Shabbos k'tiltul b'chol k'dei shlo yeh k'yom chol b'einav v'yavo lagbia u'letakin kelim mipino lepino o mibayis labayis o latzniya avon mukuyotzi bahen sharehu batel v'yoshe b'beis v'vakish davar shis asik bo v'nimtza shlo shavas u'bitel hatam shem batorah leman yanuach. Says the Rambam, what is the reason for this Isser of Muktza? Why did Chazal invoke this particular Isser? And the Rambam tells us that he sources it just like the Nevi'im. In Yeshayahu HaNavi, the Navi said that there's a din called V'daber Davar. V'daber Davar means that Shalote Diburcha b'Shabbos K'diburcha b'Chol. We're supposed to have different kind of speech on Shabbos as we do than we do on Chol. Similarly, Shalote Hiluchach b'Shabbos K'hiluchach b'Chol. The way we walk, our gait on Shabbos is supposed to be fundamentally different than our gait that we have on Chol. In other words, Shabbos is supposed to, we operate on Shabbos differently than we do on Chol. So imagine if the types of kalim that we handle on Shabbos, we handle pens and rocks and hammers and all these kinds of kalim, so then already Shabbos loses its special, unique Shabbos atmosphere. The Nevi'im, Minat Torah, the Torah tells us you have 39 malachos you're not allowed to do. Then you have all the toldos that you're not allowed to do. But you can go ahead and involve yourself in not doing these malachos, but still have a very chol-like experience if you handle these kinds of kalim that are generally used for prohibited malacha. And therefore, says the Rambam, just like the Nevi'im said, do not walk on Shabbos like do on Chol, do not talk on Shabbos like do on Chol, so don't handle Chol like kalim, because if you do so, a number of bad things could happen. Number one, the day will be transformed kiyom Chol be'einav. It'll be a very Chol-like experience. And, moreover, you'll start to carry things. Once it's chol-like, then you'll start schlepping things on Shabbos. You'll move things around the house on Shabbos, move the furniture on Shabbos, and involve yourselves in what we call non-Shabbosdik activities. But that's really a misnomer. I just said, you start involving yourself in these. There's no malacha involved in moving furniture from place to place or even handling these kinds of kalim. But if you do so, the term I just used, you're going to be involving yourself in non-Shabbosdik activities. Says the Rambam, no, it's much more profound than that. If you engage in these kinds of moving of objects and handling these kinds of objects, the day of Shabbos becomes a day that is chol-like. in nature. So then, says the Rambam, Ubitel hatam shenemar b'Torah leman yanuach. The Torah says that Shabbos is supposed to be a day of leman yanuach. It's supposed to be a day of rest, a day that is fundamentally different than the sheishes yimei hamaaseh, the days of malacha. When it comes to Shabbos is a day of menucha, a day where we withdraw from these physical matters and we involve ourselves in matters of the spirit. And says the Rambam, if you go ahead and have a chol day, so that's the reason for the Hilchot Muktza. But he adds something very fundamental, very profound, and he says, in such a situation, then you are also being mevatel hatam, you're being mevatel this din of leman yanuach. There's a din doraisa that Shabbos is a day of menucha, and by not